My child, stop scrolling. This is not a random message. Heaven sent this warning to you before the betrayal fully unfolds. Before you go any further, subscribe now, not for a channel, but so you stay connected to the voice God is using to protect you. My child, my beloved, there is a sound in the heavens that not many can hear. But you are not like the rest. You are not just passing through this message. You were drawn to it because something divine inside of you recognized the signal. Archangel Michael has already drawn his sword. And in the realm where angels fly and shadows fall, a betrayal has already begun behind your back. It is not coming. It is here. While you slept, while you laughed, while you trusted, someone close to you moved like a whisper in the dark, hiding intentions that heaven can no longer allow to remain hidden. You were shielded from this pain for a time, but now the veil must be lifted because what they are doing behind your back is worse than you imagine. God says this message will not stay open forever. In fact, only the chosen, the deeply chosen, will even feel the weight of this warning and open it before the time runs out. You are one of them. But the truth is, if you scroll away now or delay this, you may never get this moment back. That's why heaven sent this to your path and not theirs. Before we go deeper, pause for one moment and subscribe now. Not to a channel, but to the signal God is sending. You're not just watching a video or reading words. You are answering a call from heaven. It's time, my child, my beloved. The betrayal is not by a stranger. That would be easier. That would be survivable. But what makes this so urgent, so unbearable to even speak, is that it is someone you once prayed for, someone you cried for, someone you still believe might defend you when others fall away. They have learned to smile with their lips while hiding venom behind their teeth. And the sword Archangel Michael holds is not raised to punish but to protect. But heaven cannot act without your awareness. And that is why this message is sacred. Do not share it. Do not speak it aloud to the wrong ears. For if the one who is betraying you knows you are aware, they will accelerate their plan. But if you remain silent and still as the Spirit leads you, the truth will expose itself before it can harm you. The angelic realm is already watching this unfold like pages in a divine scroll. What you do next will decide whether this ends in breakthrough or heartbreak. That is why only the chosen are being shown this warning in time. And the ones who scroll away will wonder why everything collapsed without warning. But you, my beloved, are still on this page. And that is not by accident. God is still reaching for you. My child, my beloved, someone you thought was on your side is holding something behind their back. Not a gift, not a truth, but a weapon. You have been marked by God for greater things. And that mark made you a target to those who once celebrated you. They have watched your faith, your strength, your favor. And it has turned into jealousy, quiet resentment, and silent schemes. Archangel Michael saw it. That's why he came to stand by you, sword drawn. Not to attack, but to warn. There are papers with your name on them. There are messages being sent about you in secret. There is a meeting being had in the spirit world about your future, and the enemy is trying to rewrite what heaven already declared over your life. But God says no. Not this time. Not while you are still breathing and still listening. Not while you are reading this with an open heart. You are not alone. You were never alone. But now the time has come where you must listen more deeply than ever before. Turn off the noise. Silence the distractions. Focus your heart and spirit right now. Because this betrayal can be stopped, but only if you do what is about to be revealed next. My child, my beloved, there is a reason this message carries a warning so sharp it shakes the spirit. It's because time is no longer neutral. Time is now working for you or against you. And for those who ignore this final warning, it will shift violently against them. Heaven has waited long enough. You were given signs in dreams, in that strange silence when someone walked into the room, in the tight feeling in your chest when a name was mentioned. And now Archangel Michael stands over you with his sword drawn not in anger but in holy protection. You may not see the betrayal clearly yet, but that is the danger because it is happening in disguise. Behind kind words, behind casual messages, behind fake support, someone is watching you not with love but with hidden motive, and they have already spoken your name in a room you were not invited into. But heaven was there. The angels heard it. And that is why you were led to this moment. If you close your eyes right now and ask with honesty, God, show me who it is, you will begin to feel the truth rush into you. But remember, this message is sacred. Not everyone should hear what you're about to know. Do not share this lightly. The betrayal is real, but so is your protection. My child, my beloved, what's being hidden from you is not just a betrayal of trust. It's a trap. And you were never meant to walk into it. That's why this message had to reach you before the next conversation happens, before you answer that message, before you meet that person again. Heaven is urgently trying to redirect your steps to block a road that looks harmless but leads straight to heartbreak, loss, and confusion. This betrayal could steal your peace, drain your blessings, and delay your miracle unless you listen now. The one who has been smiling the most, complimenting the most, pretending the most, that's the one the angels have their eyes on. You've been asking God, why do I feel drained after being around certain people? This is why. It is spiritual warfare hiding in normal clothes. But you are not alone. Archangel Michael was given orders directly from the throne of heaven to intervene. But even angels need your cooperation. That's why this message was timed perfectly, because what you do next matters. You are not powerless. You are protected. But the shield only works if you stay awake. Stay alert. And don't give your loyalty to someone who has already made up their mind to betray you. My child, my beloved, a secret has been kept from you. Not by God, but by the one who thinks they can outsmart heaven. They smiled in your presence and plotted behind your back. They blessed your name in public, but twisted it in private. But every word spoken against you has been recorded in the archives of the unseen realm. Not one has been missed. The betrayal is deep because it comes from someone you would have defended, someone you would have stood up for even now if you didn't know the truth. That's what makes this message heavy. Because heaven isn't just exposing a stranger. It's preparing you to walk away from someone you once considered safe. But you must. You must let God pull you out before the plan completes. There are hours left, maybe minutes, before something irreversible is triggered. The Spirit is whispering urgently to your soul. Pay attention to the shift, the timing, the sudden mood changes, the strange energy when you're around them. These are not coincidences. They are holy alarms. Do not ignore the red flags anymore. They are not warnings. They are mercy. My child, my beloved, the person you're thinking of right now, the name that just dropped into your heart without warning, that's the one heaven is spotlighting. You didn't plan to think of them, but the Spirit brought them to the surface while you're reading this because that's how divine confirmation works. It doesn't scream, it nudges. It doesn't accuse, it awakens. You felt the shift already. You've seen the signs. But your loyalty made you quiet. Your hope made you stay. And now God is gently but urgently saying, the clock is running out. What they're planning is not just words. It's movement. They are moving in ways that seem innocent, but the destination is damage. They have spoken to someone else about you, someone who now carries a version of you that doesn't even exist. But what they don't know is heaven is watching. Angels have intercepted their whispers. And now this message is your invitation to step into spiritual clarity before anything worse unfolds. Listen carefully, beloved. This is not fear. This is freedom. This is not paranoia. This is prophecy. You are being preserved before the storm ever touches you. My child, my beloved, if you're still reading this, it means your spirit is still listening. You didn't scroll away like others did. You didn't dismiss this as a coincidence. That alone confirms you are who heaven says you are, chosen. There are others who were shown the same warning and ignored it. They're living in consequences now. But you still have time. This is your final shield. Archangel Michael is standing near with fire in his eyes and your name on his lips. This sword he carries is not meant to harm. It's meant to cut the ties that have been silently draining you for years. Some betrayals are subtle. They don't scream. They whisper. They manipulate slowly. But the damage builds like invisible cracks in a dam until one day it breaks. God is trying to stop that break before it ever reaches you. That's why this warning feels so personal, so intense, because it is. Don't just hear these words, absorb them. Don't just believe in angels. Follow the instructions they're giving you. Walk away. Stay quiet. Protect your peace. Refuse to defend yourself where God is already defending you. My child, my beloved, you've carried this feeling for too long. That quiet heaviness, that unexplained burden that wraps itself around your chest when you're alone, wasn't just emotion. It was discernment. Heaven has been trying to reach you through your own spirit. Those dreams that ended before they made sense. Those sudden waves of sadness around specific people. Those moments where your body reacted before your mind understood. That was the Holy Spirit. You weren't being dramatic. You weren't being paranoid. You were being protected. And now through this message, the veil is being removed fully. Archangel Michael says, the person you suspect is closer to betrayal than you think. They've already taken a step, but the final step hasn't been taken yet. And this message was sent in the space between their move and your miracle. What you do right now can cancel the outcome the enemy planned. This is not a coincidence. This is spiritual interruption. God is halting something dark before it locks around your future. And it's because of what you carry, what you were born to do. The betrayal isn't about your past. It's about your potential. That's why it feels so personal. Because hell is terrified of who you'll become if you stay whole. My child, my beloved, this is the moment where clarity must overrule comfort. You've been waiting for confirmation, and this is it. You've asked for a sign, and this is it. You've cried for truth to be revealed, and heaven has answered. There are no more delays. The person who is betraying you has already spoken to others, planting seeds of confusion. They are trying to control the narrative before you realize what they've done. But what they don't know is heaven outranks every plan spoken in secret. The sword in Michael's hand is not just drawn, it's burning. And the fire of that sword is already touching the lies. Soon the one who has betrayed you will begin to feel exposed. They will grow nervous. Their mask will slip. Watch closely. The Spirit will reveal them not with drama but with undeniable peace. You will not need to argue. You will not need to fight. Just wait. Just listen. Just obey. Because this is a divine warning meant to save more than your emotions. It is saving your destiny. If you ignore this, you may still survive. But if you obey this, you will be elevated. God doesn't just want to preserve you. He wants to position you. My child, my beloved, they will try to explain it away. They will blame your sensitivity. They will act confused when the truth comes out. But God says, don't be fooled. The clarity you're receiving is not emotional. It's prophetic. What your spirit is sensing is not imagination. It is revelation. Do not let their smooth words convince you to second-guess the discernment heaven gave you. The one who betrayed you is still watching, still gathering information, still pretending. But that pretending is about to collapse. God is already removing the mask. They will begin to slip up. The things they said behind closed doors will start leaking into their tone. Watch the shift in energy. Watch their distance. Watch their sudden change in posture. Heaven is allowing this betrayal to unfold just enough that you'll never question what you saw. God is not trying to destroy them. He is trying to deliver you. And this is the only way you'll stop making excuses for the wrong people. You prayed for clarity. This is it. You asked for answers. This is them. You said, God, I'm tired of being confused. This is the response from the throne of heaven. You are no longer confused. You are being corrected and redirected. My child, my beloved, there is one thing you must understand. The one who is betraying you does not hate you. They envy you. And that envy turned to bitterness the moment they realized they could not control you. You were meant to shine, but they only supported your light as long as it didn't outshine theirs. The moment your favor became visible, their heart turned quietly against you. They may have never said it out loud, but heaven heard the silence. Heaven heard the bitterness behind the compliment. Heaven saw how they celebrated others loudly but supported you quietly, cautiously, strategically. This is spiritual warfare masked in friendship. A storm dressed in politeness, but no more. The sword has been released to divide you from what is draining you. And yes, it might be painful, but it will be worth it. The peace that is coming after this separation will make you wonder how you ever lived without it. Don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to walk away. Even if it's someone you love, even if it's someone you thought would never turn, God is asking you to release the weight. Not because they're evil, but because they can't go where you're going. My child, my beloved, you've been asking, why does it feel like something is always holding me back? And now the answer is arriving through divine words. The thing holding you back was never your effort. It was never your faith. It was the people hiding behind you pretending to be for you. When you gave them space, they used it to study your weaknesses. When you gave them time, they used it to sabotage your strength. But now the window is closing. What they tried to do will not succeed, because God interrupted it. And your obedience to stay in this moment, to keep reading, to stay listening is what activates the protection. This isn't a message to scare you. It's a message to liberate you. Once you recognize the betrayal and stop covering for it, heaven will rush in and replace what you lost with something holy, something real, something pure. Archangel Michael is not just watching you. He's walking with you through this moment, through this confrontation, through this transformation. And by the time this is done, the one who betrayed you will realize they were not just fighting you. They were fighting God's anointing on your life. And no one wins that battle. My child, my beloved, this is the part where most people turn away, where they hear the truth but retreat into comfort. But you are not like most people. You've come too far to walk away from the very clarity you prayed for. And because of that, heaven is granting you something rare. Foresight. You are being allowed to see the danger before it hits. Do you understand how precious that is? Most only see the betrayal after it bleeds, after it wounds. But you are being warned while there is still time to withdraw your heart, your presence, your energy. This is not a punishment. This is preservation. Archangel Michael didn't draw his sword to scare you. He drew it to create a boundary in the spirit, a line that says, no more crossing. No more invading your peace. No more speaking your name without reverence. No more draining you silently while smiling publicly. And from this moment forward, heaven says your sensitivity is your shield. The way your heart tugs when you're around them, that's confirmation. The unease that suddenly rises when they call, that's a divine alert. Do not ignore your spirit anymore. It knows before your eyes do. And God speaks through that knowing. My child, my beloved, someone is about to be shocked. But it won't be you. The one who thought they could move against you in secret is about to be exposed in public. Not by drama, not by chaos, but by divine unfolding. Heaven is about to orchestrate moments where masks fall without effort. Conversations will slip. The truth will tumble out of their own mouth. And you won't have to say a word. You'll just know. You'll feel the air change. You'll feel your spirit breathe again. You'll see clearly. And in that moment, you'll remember this message, that this was the warning. This was the gift. This was the whisper from eternity reminding you God doesn't let the faithful walk into betrayal blind. That's why you were chosen to hear this. Now, this is not the end of anything. It's the beginning of something purer, more powerful, more aligned with your soul. You don't need to be afraid of what's coming. You only need to be obedient. Heaven is ahead of the enemy. And the moment you decide to step away from what heaven is separating you from, the miracle waiting on the other side will no longer be delayed. My child, my beloved, betrayal always brings two choices: collapse or clarity. And right now, God is handing you clarity. You won't need closure from the one who hurt you. Heaven is your closure. Archangel Michael is your defender. The sword is not symbolic. It's spiritual. And it is being used even now to divide soul ties, old emotional attachments, invisible spiritual entanglements that kept pulling you back into patterns you thought you had left behind. You have been wondering why your peace has been fragile. Why you feel blocked even when you're doing everything right. This is why, because peace and betrayal cannot exist in the same room. And now heaven is evicting the betrayal. But you must agree. You must participate. That doesn't mean war. That means withdrawal, quiet, holy separation, no explanations, no guilt, just obedience. Because sometimes the miracle is not in the fight, it's in the walking away. God is asking you to trust that letting go of what harms you is not loss, it's healing. And your healing begins the moment you stop calling the pain protection. My child, my beloved, there are angels posted around your name right now. Yes, around your name. Because your name has been spoken in conversations it was never meant to enter. The betrayer didn't just act. They spoke. They sowed seeds of doubt. But those words did not go unnoticed. In the realm of the Spirit, words carry weight and heaven records all things. That's why this message is not only protection. It is also justice. Divine justice is coming. You don't need revenge. You don't need the last word. You just need to remain silent enough to let heaven respond. And it will. It's already begun. There are consequences attached to what they did. Not because you asked for it, but because God loves you too much to let the betrayal continue unchallenged. The sword is in motion now. The exposure is coming. And when it does, remember this. It wasn't your strength that saved you. It was your obedience. You stayed long enough to hear this truth. And that alone tells heaven you are ready for the shift. My child, my beloved, what you are stepping into now is no longer confusion. It is clarity wrapped in heavenly fire. That's why it feels intense. That's why your chest tightens as you read, because your soul recognizes that this is not just a message. It is a divine transaction. God is trading your pain for discernment. He is replacing the betrayal with divine visibility. And that visibility will change everything. Soon you will walk into rooms and feel the truth before anyone speaks. Soon you will look at the one who betrayed you and no longer feel the need to beg them to love you properly, because the Spirit is maturing your perception. Archangel Michael is not just defending your surroundings. He is recalibrating your inner sight. You won't need signs anymore. You will simply know. And that knowing will be the sword that protects your peace. The betrayer will begin to sense that you are no longer blind. They'll feel it in your energy. And their control will begin to slip, not because you became aggressive, but because you became awake. And that is something no enemy can withstand. Heaven is giving you something permanent, the power to never be fooled the same way again. My child, my beloved, you must understand something crucial now. The betrayal wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to redirect you. Had they stayed loyal, you might have kept them around longer than necessary, and their presence would have polluted your promise. God allowed the exposure not because He wanted to hurt you, but because He wanted to cleanse the environment before the blessing arrived. That's why you feel like something huge is coming, because it is. Your spirit is sensing the approach of something sacred, something heavy with glory. But heaven cannot pour oil into vessels that are cracked by betrayal. This message is not just telling you what happened. It is sealing you again, restoring you, rebuilding what was torn in silence. The parts of you that you gave away too freely are being returned now. And the sword in Michael's hand is cutting away the false ties that made you believe you needed their approval to be whole. You never needed them to see you. God always saw you. And now that God has pulled back the curtain, the light can finally touch what was hidden. My child, my beloved, you are walking through one of the most important spiritual thresholds of your life. This is not just about avoiding betrayal. It's about stepping into the identity that betrayal was sent to block. You've been asking, what am I really meant for? And heaven has been waiting for the betrayer to reveal themselves, because only then would you be willing to walk away from the people who were connected to your past, not your purpose. Sometimes the greatest enemy to your calling is the person too familiar with your history. And that's why God waited. He waited for you to be strong enough to leave even the ones you love, if it means protecting the anointing on your life. That is what's happening now. You are not just being warned. You are being transitioned. From wounded to warrior. From betrayed to chosen. From doubted to declared. Archangel Michael is not whispering anymore. He is standing at the gate of your next season. Sword raised high, waiting for you to cross into what was always meant to be yours. But you cannot take them with you. You cannot carry this betrayal into your next blessing. Let it end here. Let the separation be final. God will restore what you lose with something greater, purer, everlasting. My child, my beloved, don't wait for them to confess. Don't wait for the apology. Don't wait for closure from someone who was never honest to begin with. That's the trap. They want you waiting, stuck, questioning, lost in thought. But heaven wants you moving, focused, clear. The apology won't heal you. Obedience will. You already have the closure. This message is the closure. God is saying, you've seen enough. Now move. Stop replaying what they did. Stop trying to understand how they changed. The truth is they didn't change. They were revealed. And now that you see it clearly, heaven expects action. Delayed obedience is disobedience. If God has shown you their heart, don't wait for them to change it. That's not your assignment. Your assignment is to protect your purpose and step fully into the covering being offered to you right now. Archangel Michael's sword is drawn not just to protect you from them, but to protect you from yourself, from your tendency to overgive, to overlove, to overlook. But not this time. This time, heaven is asking for your alignment, not your sacrifice. My child, my beloved, the betrayal you're walking through now has a divine expiration date. And this is it. The lies end here. The confusion ends here. The spiritual weight ends here. You were not created to walk with chains. You were not created to live half-loved. You were not created to beg for clarity that heaven has already given. The people who betrayed you were never bigger than the calling on your life. And now that calling is rising again, stronger, clearer, bolder. God is reclaiming the parts of you that betrayal tried to silence. And when the sword finally drops and the separation becomes complete, you will feel something you haven't felt in a long time. Rest. Stillness, clarity, and joy that isn't tied to anyone else's behavior. The joy of knowing you listened, that you trusted heaven, that you didn't ignore the sign one more time. And heaven will celebrate that choice. The angels will sing over that decision, and Archangel Michael will walk beside you. Not because you need protection from betrayal anymore, but because you are now walking boldly into promise. My child, my beloved, hear this final decree from the throne of grace. The season of hidden warfare is over. The period where you questioned your own discernment is concluded. From this moment forward, you walk not as one recovering from a wound, but as one armored in the truth that was forged within it. The betrayal was a furnace, but you were not consumed, you were tempered. The lies were a wind, but you were not uprooted, your foundations were tested and proven. Now, heaven issues a new command: advance. The path ahead is clear because the obstacles behind you have been named and nullified. The one who moved in shadow has been brought into the light of your understanding, not for your vengeance, but for your liberation. Their power over you was the power of your unawareness. That power is now broken. Archangel Michael sheaths his sword not because the battle is forgotten, but because your position has shifted. You are no longer in the line of fire. You have been moved, by divine strategy, to higher ground. From this vantage point, you can see the traps, the diversions, the fragile alliances of those who operate in the dark. You see, and in seeing, you are safe. Do not mistake this elevation for mere emotional relief. It is a tactical repositioning in a heavenly campaign for your destiny. The favor you carry is not a gentle ornament, it is a disruptive force in the realm of the ordinary. It unsettles complacency. It exposes mediocrity. It invites both genuine allegiance and severe envy. The betrayal was proof of your spiritual potency. Hell does not dispatch its subtle agents to undermine what is insignificant. You were attacked because you are a threat to the status quo of darkness in your bloodline, in your circle, in your calling. Remember this when the memory of the pain tries to diminish you. The attack was a backhanded acknowledgement of your divine potential. Now, a sacred transfer begins. Every ounce of loyalty, time, and energy you once poured into that broken vessel is being recalled by heaven. It is being purified, multiplied, and redirected. You will feel this as a sudden capacity, mental space, creative flow, emotional bandwidth, where once there was clutter and drain. New connections will arrive, not with the feverish intensity of a false friend, but with the steady, synchronistic rhythm of divine alignment. They will recognize the anointing on you because they carry a similar frequency. You will not have to perform or explain. You will simply be, and in your being, you will be understood. Your protection now is your cultivated discernment. The spirit within you, which sounded the first alarm, has been sharpened into a precision instrument. You will know. You will know in the first sentence spoken, in the first glance exchanged, in the subtle shift of atmosphere. This knowing is your new shield. It is the inheritance of this trial. No one can take it from you. No one can argue you out of it. It is the quiet voice that has graduated from a whisper to a clear channel. Trust it absolutely. It is the voice of the Father who just led you through the valley and onto the peak. There is a reunion awaiting you, not with people, but with parts of your own soul. The part that trusted too easily is now wise. The part that feared confrontation is now courageously calm. The part that sought validation is now rooted in divine affirmation. You are being made whole, not by the mending of old, fractured relationships, but by the integration of the strength you gained in surviving their fracture. You are becoming a complete circle, dependent on God alone, and therefore capable of healthy, holy interdependency with others. The divine justice you are to witness will not always look like dramatic downfall. Often, it is a quiet unraveling. It is the self-sabotage of the manipulator when their audience disappears. It is the loneliness that creeps into the heart of the deceiver when they are left with only their own echoes. It is the law of harvest: they planted discord, and they will reap isolation. You are not to watch this with glee, but with the sober understanding that God is not mocked. Your role is not to spectate their consequence, but to be so faithfully engaged in your own forward motion that their landscape fades from your view. So go. Take the first step of this new leg of the journey without looking over your shoulder for a ghost. The tomb of that old trust is empty. Do not linger there. The angel at the tomb now says, "Why do you look for the living among the dead?" That chapter is sealed. The covenant of betrayal is broken. You are free. The miracles that seemed delayed were not sleeping, they were being rerouted. The blessing could not travel the old road, cluttered with treachery. It has now found a new path, the one you are on this very moment. Expect sudden openings. Expect unexpected provision. Expect divine appointments that feel like reunions with souls you've known forever. This is the kingdom's way of restoration. It does not just repair the old, it surpasses it. You are now a living testament to a profound spiritual principle: what was meant to bury you was used to build you. The very soil of their betrayal has become the foundation of your fortress. The very whispers meant to break you have become the battle cries of your angels. You are, and will forever be, the one who heeded the warning, who endured the revelation, and who chose to walk obediently into the dawn. Archangel Michael now stands ahead of you, a guide on the path, not a defender at your back. The rear guard is the Lord's. Your past is secured. Your future is clear. Your present is charged with purpose. The sound in the heavens has changed. It is no longer a warning tone. It is a trumpet call. Advance, my child. Advance, my beloved. The kingdom awaits your arrival. If you stayed until the end, it means heaven knew you would listen. This warning was mercy, not fear. Subscribe now as an act of alignment, not to me, but to the signal God is sending over your life. Stay connected, because the next message will not be a warning. It will be the confirmation.